Good evening and welcome. I'm Mr. Baker and this is our silent unboxer of rare pops, Craig. I know we said we'd have to delay South Park a little bit, but South Park is suddenly very relevant again. And they just aired their 300th episode, so our humble little show will jump on the hype train and we have a Chase Edition Funko Pop to review. And for Craig to unbox and make the collectors cringe. He'd like to encourage more unboxing violence. Cartoons do seem to live forever. Even so, 23 seasons, 300 episodes, 9 video games including The Stick of Truth and Fractured Butthole, and of course the infamously crude movie Bigger, Longer and Uncut, which broke a lot of records for profanity in film. South Park did something interesting over the years that a lot of long-running shows get right, is they moved away from just shock comedy and profanity and towards a ridiculous political satire and a running commentary on popular culture. The point at which they grew up is clear to see the day that Kenny died for the last time. F in the comments to pay your respects. It's around the same time that they started developing supporting characters, and we have 2 figurines to help us explore the show. Phillip here, who's a lot more relevant in the early days of the show, and Butters, who's in the background at the start, but becomes more interesting as the show grows up. So let's start with Phillip, number 12 in the South Park set. The box is pretty standard, it has an image of the town and on the back and side. And of course, the fancy Chase sticker in the front. A Chase pop is a slight variation on the original design. Can you spot how this one is different? The Chase variant Funko Pops are distributed randomly to retailers. The ratio used to be at about 1 in 36 and is rumored to be 1 in 6 at the moment. Regardless, you have to be quite lucky to find one. A lot of comic book stores and other stores know what there are, will mark up any that they find, which is kinda wrong. Don't do that. Put them on the shelf and let the lucky buyers get them. The ones I found are usually from stores that don't know any different. Okay, Craig, you can open him up. This is our only unboxing today because Craig destroyed the other Professor Chaos box. If you want your own Funko Pop, there is a link in the description. If you specifically want a Chase, you'll have to work a little harder to find that one. Ready, Craig? Phillip is simultaneously one of the best and worst looking pops that we've ever had to look at on this channel. He's made up of a few basic shapes that look exactly what he's supposed to look like. In the South Park universe, all Canadians are made up of basic shapes, so they're cars and buildings, and you should be able to see that right behind us if the editor Craig is doing his job properly. But the best thing about this pop is his head. All Canadians in South Park have a flap for a mouth, so that's how they talk. And in pop form, I'm sure this is the only one, apart from his partner Terrance, that has half of his head as a bobblehead and the other half fixed in place. So well done to the designers for that one. Phillip has a big P on the front of his shirt. No points for guessing what the P stands for. And the feature that makes him a Chase is the Canadian flag in his left hand, of course. Nice to see a little left-handed acknowledgement. He's the first one I've reviewed with an accessory in that hand. And Craig is back to his old habits of writing on my things. You know, you're a towel. Around the back is nothing at all, apart from the more Canadian flag. Phillip is part of the famous comedy duo Terrance and Phillip. They represent in the South Park universe what South Park represents to us in the real world. Crude and childish humor, literally just all swearing and fart jokes. But rated R, clearly aimed at kids though. There's not much focus there anymore because South Park isn't that anymore. The current South Park, the real Terrance and Phillip have appeared, dealing with real problems. The duo break up, Terrance getting fat, and eventually the duo reunite as old men for a Netflix special, while all the South Park kids are in the 4th grade. Let's move on. Next one, Professor Chaos, no unboxing necessary. The villainous alter ego of Butters Stotch. He's wearing a Magneto-esque helmet made of aluminium foil. They did a great job with the texture here, looks right. He has the same metallic theme for his shoes and gloves, and around the back is a large green cape that doubles as a stand. It makes this pop really easy to stand. On top of his head there's a little yellow hair stuck on, which is also accurate to the character. Butters has played a much bigger role in South Park since Kenny died. They formed a few characters, including him, with Butters leading the pack. He's the first of the kids to have a villain alter ego too, as an escape to deal with his very strict dad who's constantly grounding him. Would that work on you? Nope, that wouldn't work. The rest will follow later on to parody the latest superhero craze and also have their own superhero and villain costumes. If we take another quick look at the Pop, oh, you're back, we can really see his happy smile. The smiling mouth, typical South Park style. South Park was originally created using stop motion and construction paper. It gives the show a really unique look. South Park of course now uses computers for animation, but they keep their style consistent throughout media formats. Definitely makes for better t-shirts. The animation style is purposefully simple because their production schedule is a bit insane. They write and produce each episode in 6 days, the 7th day being the day the episode airs. It allows them to be very current with their satire while keeping continuity between episodes on point. South Park has been accused of getting a bit stale. That's bound to happen when a show has been around for this long, but sometimes they find something that pulls them right back into the spotlight. And this time around, they managed to get themselves banned from China. We were surprised they were ever allowed in China in the first place, but we won't spoil anything. They suggested American media shouldn't be pandering to Chinese censors, and in doing so, ran afoul of Chinese censors. Who'd have guessed that would happen? As soon as the news broke, South Park prepared a public insult labeled as an apology and posted it on Twitter. Can we get that up on the screen for a moment? Well, if you're losing out on Chinese viewers, you might as well double down. Make sure everyone else wants to watch. This is the kind of awareness that keeps them going, season after season, even while Trey Parker and Matt Stone have seemingly moved on to other things. They always come back every single year to bring South Park to life and make sure everyone knows how ridiculous the world is. It's a really good thing that they like to mock everyone, including America and their famous constituents most of all, so you won't get Donald Trump throwing support behind them because that would be really bad. We need our world leaders to remain level-headed and not start a war over a cartoon. Please and thank you. Next time, we'll be getting back into anime with My Hero Academia, as we said we would last week. Unless another franchise decides to do something that demands our attention. Subscribe so you don't miss that. Goodbye.